Signs that you have low T, otherwise known as testosterone. Now, there are so many different reasons as to why one might have low testosterone. And there are so many ways to see, all right? There are so many signs that show up in an individual, in a man who has low testosterone. I'm not gonna sit here and go through all of them, okay? I'm honestly just gonna go through my own brain and filter through each and every thought as they come. It's gonna be a natural video, no cuts, none of that, completely raw, okay? And we'll see where we go with this. There was something on my mind. I wanted to say testosterone is literally the life force of every man, okay? And we all know, right? Men have done great things in their lives. We've done so many. We've built amazing infrastructure, amazing economy, amazing, technology, okay? A lot of the things we take for granted today have been made by men. So imagine the kind of human you get when the one thing that is the driving force, the driving factor behind all of us men, you take it out of him and you sap it out of him at an early age. Okay, you can just imagine how clear, how different he will be growing up into a man compared to someone else who has grown up properly and more optimized for their health and testosterone, right? So with that being said, I'd like to get into it. So the first thing that you'll realize if you have low testosterone is you'll have a very high-pitched and squeaky voice, okay? Now, me personally, I know that my voice can change during the day, depending on what I'm doing, how I'm feeling, right? Right now, it's morning, right? I'm chilling. I'm drinking water. Usually when I drink, my voice goes deeper anyway. As in when I drink water, obviously. I don't consume alcohol like that, right? And obviously I'm not talking previously to puberty, okay? If you haven't reached puberty yet, you shouldn't even consider yourself a man. You shouldn't be trying to identify with the things that high testosterone gives you and grants you. You understand? Because you haven't even breached that wall yet. I'm not talking about you, sorry, to those of you youngins watching the video. Squeaky voice, okay? If you're 18, 19, 20, 21, and you still sound like my cousin, my younger cousin back there, right? You most likely have low testosterone, okay? You just, there's no real excuse for it. And I know different people have different voices and speak in different ways, okay? But one thing does lead to another. You understand? You can have a squeaky voice and not have low testosterone. But this is also evident if, for example, you are grounded, in the way you speak, in the way your mannerisms. Are you eloquent with your speech? Do you take pauses? Because yes, it's more than just the pitch of your voice. And since we're on the topic of speech, we can incorporate that within the actual topic, right? How do you come across when you speak? Are you slow to speak? Or are you erratic and irrational? And you just say the first thing that comes to your mind? You know, do you ever pause and think and then speak? Even if you do have a high-pitched voice, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if you follow these, if you are within these parameters, then yes, low testosterone might not be a sign, might not be an indicator that you have. You might just have a squeaky voice, you understand? So that's a question you need to ask yourself. Do you fall in line with the latter or the first thing that I explained? You know? The second thing that has just come to mind. How agreeable are you? Okay. Now, one thing I've realized with just people in general, everybody is so scared of confrontation. Everyone is so scared of saying, no, I'm not interested. No, I don't want to go out. No, just no. You know? In fact, you as a man right now, I don't care where you are, who you are, in the relationship that you're currently in, I can guarantee you, and I was saying this last night, you're not telling your girl no enough. You're not telling her no enough. You know, in today's day and age, okay, unless you have a traditional, you know, setup, just the ways in which the dynamic is today, okay, and the way women like to move and the way they like to do things, and the way men have become so feminized, okay, there's no way you're telling her no enough. You understand where I'm coming from? But how agreeable are you? You know? How many times do you engage in conversation with someone and you're just, yeah, smiley, smiley, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, I did watch that. Yeah. So what do you think about, you know, ha, 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 chuckle, chuckle, chuckle. You know? There's no real substance there. Is that truly what you want to talk about? You know, and obviously this one is quite dependent on whether you have an actual goal, a purpose. You know, and I would say that's for another topic, and I will get into that, right? But learn to say no. Learn to follow what is said on the inside. Okay, don't always just try and appeal to others, okay? Because a lot of the things other people do, you would never want to do anyway. You're not in agreement with that, okay? That's not in line with what you're trying to get out of life. So why would you try and appeal to them and what they want for you, or what they want for their own, you know what I'm trying to say? Focus on yourself and tell them no. Respect your own boundaries. The third thing I wanted to mention about having low testosterone is that you'll find your ambition and your drive will diminish. Your ambition and your drive will diminish. You'll find that you don't have an urge to wake up and do something, to chase your dreams, you know, to do something that you know you'll be proud of, to make accomplishments. You won't have the willpower to go and do hard things, to go and perform 100 push-ups. Okay, you might not have too much going for yourself right now. You have to try and pick out what are little things I can do that are not so easy to do right now. Little things I can do that my peers, that those I'm in competition with, would say, oh, nah, I don't want to do that, you know? that would pussy out of doing these things? What are little things I can go and put myself into and do? Which situations can I put myself into in order to come out stronger? You know, you must chase that feeling within yourself, and every man does have it. I truly believe that. You know, I don't think there's a, and when I talk about man, and this is for future reference, I'm talking of a specific definition of man. Okay, not this man who, I don't want to go, you know what I mean? We know what I'm talking about, me and you. And hopefully if you're anything like me, you'll understand what I'm referring to, right? But it's indeed true that a low ambition, a low drive, a low sex drive is a special indicator of low testosterone, you know? Another thing I will talk about as well is morning wood, right? If you're anything like me, okay, when you were younger, you would always wake up erect, fully erect, and you know, it would be to the point where you'd be confused. I don't know why this is the case. Okay, back then I was younger, I didn't know anything I know now regarding that, let alone go into Google to, you know, I just thought it was normal. But believe it or not, as time went on, I started seeing that less and less and less. Obviously at times it would be there, fine. But I kind of had to pick myself back up. You understand? To the point where I am now, and I'm consistently waking up like a rocket, fully erect. This is not only a sign of high testosterone, but a sign of good and, you know, a good level of health. Are you waking up erect? And I'm not just talking about just last Thursday, no. Monday to Friday, day in, day out, week in, week out. Can you say that's truly your experience? Because that's a pretty big indicator of low testosterone, you know? And one thing I will tell you is, and don't use this as an excuse, but if you have an irregular sleeping pattern, this can affect how you wake up and whether you wake up erect or not. So, for example, if you go to sleep at 10 p.m. and you wake up at, say, 7 p.m. all the time, from Monday to Friday, from the 1st to the 30th of the month, your body will understand, okay, this is the time that Joseph wakes up. So therefore, at 7 a.m., did I say, I think I said 7 p.m. You can't wake up at 7 p.m. 7 a.m., right? This is when he wakes up. This is when we're gonna be erect, okay? But if you're somebody that goes to sleep 12 p.m. and you're waking up at 2 p.m., okay? Or you're going to sleep at 10 p.m., you know, and you're waking up at in the noon, or even early. Essentially what I'm saying is, if you're waking up at random times and you're going to sleep at random times, you have no order, okay? You're not following your circadian rhythm. Your body doesn't know when you're waking up. It doesn't know when to, because you have to understand, your body actually sends out signals and chemicals whenever you're about to wake up. Okay, this helps you prepare for the day. This helps you prepare and gives you more energy. Hold on, my screen seems a bit bright. That'll do. You understand? There's something called, what's it called? Anyway, damn, what's it called? I forgot the name of the thing. Anyway, but take magnesium. Magnesium will help with your sleep. It'll help you relax and, you know, wind down and prepare for sleep. Take magnesium. another thing, and this actually kind of annoys me inside, okay? And I would just have to say it's a sign of low testosterone. And it's the lack of eye contact from people, especially from people within my age range. And you can just tell when you look at another guy how old he roughly is, right? Everyone that is supposed to be of a similar age to me, and I'm walking down the street and I look at them, it's like you're just, you know, your body language is awkward. You know, you're walking around like this, like, or you're even got a little hunch over because you're so used to looking down at your device, at your phone. And if that's not it, and if none of that's the case, right, you don't have a phone in your hand, you can't even look up at the person who's approaching you, right? And I don't mean to be this kind of guy to talk about this necessarily, okay? Because I don't see color. You know, I don't judge people badly based on the color of their skin, okay? I judge people badly based on the quality of their character. But anyway, that's for a whole nother, right? But I said that to say this. We're living in a time today, right, where crazy things happen to people. And you're telling me you don't even care about your surroundings, about who's really approaching you right now. Look at me. I'm a black guy, 6 foot, right, with dreads. Okay, I could really be anyone, right? I know myself. I'm a cool, chill guy with a good head on his shoulders. I'm fine. But you don't know that. You truly don't know that. And it, make the wrong mistake, and it could be, you know, an ex-convict or something. You want to at least be able to, if he's about to attack you, you want to know. You would hate for it to come as a surprise, because now you're defenseless. You understand? Just the ability to not even have that train of thought, it would have to be signify low testosterone. I don't understand, you know, how it wouldn't. I have many more examples, many more reasons as to how there's been a surge in low testosterone amongst men nowadays, and I would love to go into them, but for the sake of time, I can't do that right now. I have a very big announcement to make, and that is I am working on something huge, all right, that I'm gonna bring to all of you, something that can truly help one or more people watching this video, and I can't wait to release it. Okay, but just make sure you're there when I do, because you don't want to miss this, okay? It's been a pleasure speaking to all of you. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.